In the 1960s, Bob Crane seemed to embody everything audiences loved about television. With his quick wit, effortless charm, and confident screen presence, he became a familiar and comforting figure in homes across America. As Colonel Hogan in Hogan's Heroes, he brought humor into an unusual setting, blending intelligence with lighthearted mischief. Viewers admired not just the character, but the man behind it, someone who appeared warm, approachable, and endlessly entertaining. Off-screen, Crane carried the same lively personality, making him popular among colleagues and fans alike. Yet, like many public figures, the image people saw was only part of a much deeper story. His life reminds us that even those who seem happiest on the outside often carry complexities that remain unseen. From radio star to rising actor before television made him a household name, Bob Crane had already carved out a successful career in radio. Working in Los Angeles, he became known for his sharp improvisation and ability to engage listeners effortlessly. His morning show on KNX brought him into contact with major Hollywood personalities, allowing him to build both confidence and connections. Crane's talent for quick thinking and humor made him stand out in a competitive field. His transition into acting felt natural, as his personality translated seamlessly to the screen. Early television appearances gave audiences a glimpse of his potential, and industry professionals quickly took notice. These opportunities laid the foundation for his future success, proving that his appeal wasn't limited to one medium. He was, at his core, an entertainer who understood how to connect with people, whether through a microphone or a camera. The breakthrough that changed everything. Bob Crane's career reached new heights when he was cast in Hogan's Heroes, a show that would define his legacy. Premiering in the mid-1960s, the series offered a unique blend of comedy and clever storytelling, and Crane's performance as the quick-thinking leader at its center made him unforgettable. The role brought him widespread recognition, along with award nominations and a devoted fan base. For many viewers, he became synonymous with intelligence, humor, and calm leadership. His face appeared everywhere, from magazines to merchandise, cementing his place in popular culture. At the height of the show's success, it seemed as though his career had reached a perfect balance of fame and creative fulfillment. Yet, as often happens in the entertainment world, success also brought new pressures, expectations, and changes that would shape the next phase of his life. Life beyond the spotlight. As Crane's professional life flourished, his personal world began to shift in quieter ways. Fame can be both rewarding and demanding, and maintaining balance is not always easy. Those close to him noticed subtle changes as he explored new interests and spent more time outside the traditional routines of work. Like many creative individuals, he was curious and drawn to new forms of expression. These evolving interests became a larger part of his life, sometimes pulling his focus away from the career that had made him famous. At the same time, his relationships began to feel the strain that often accompanies a fast-paced and public lifestyle. While none of this was visible to the audience, it marked an important turning point. It was a reminder that success in one area of life does not always guarantee stability in another. A career in transition. By the early 1970s, as television trends began to change, Bob Crane found himself adjusting to a new phase of his career. Like many actors whose defining roles come to an end, he explored different opportunities, including stage performances and guest appearances. This period required adaptability and resilience as the industry evolved and audiences sought new forms of entertainment. Crane remained dedicated to his craft, continuing to perform and connect with audiences in different ways. While he may not have reached the same level of visibility as before, his passion for entertaining never faded. This stage of his life highlights an important truth about creative careers. They are rarely static. Instead, they move through cycles of growth, reinvention, and reflection, each phase offering its own challenges and rewards. The night that changed everything. In 1978, Bob Crane's life came to a sudden and tragic end in Scottsdale, Arizona, where he had been performing in a stage production. The news shocked both fans and the entertainment industry, leaving many struggling to understand how such a beloved figure could be lost so unexpectedly. The circumstances surrounding his passing quickly became the subject of intense attention and speculation. For those who knew him personally, the loss was deeply felt, not just as the passing of a public figure, but as the loss of a friend, colleague, and family member. It was a moment that brought both grief and unanswered questions. Even years later, the impact of that event continues to be felt, shaping how his story is remembered and discussed. Questions without clear answers. In the years that followed, efforts to understand what happened that night led to investigations and legal proceedings. While there were strong suspicions and ongoing discussions, the case never reached a definitive conclusion. Advances in technology over time brought renewed hope that clearer answers might emerge, but the outcome remained uncertain. For the public, the mystery became a central part of Bob Crane's story. For his family, however, it was something far more personal, a search for closure that proved difficult to achieve. Situations like this remind us how complex real-life events can be, especially when evidence is incomplete or time has passed. The absence of clear answers often leaves space for speculation, but it also highlights the importance of remembering the human side of the story. A family's perspective and strength. For Bob Crane's family, the years after his passing were marked by both remembrance and resilience. They worked to preserve his legacy as an entertainer while also navigating the challenges of public attention. It can be difficult when a loved one's life becomes defined by a single event, especially when that event overshadows years of meaningful work. His family's efforts to share a more complete picture of who he was reflect a desire to keep his memory grounded in truth and balance. They remember not just the public figure, but the person behind the roles, someone with humor, talent, and depth. Their perspective adds an important layer to his story, reminding us that every headline represents real lives and real emotions, remembering the man behind the fame. Today, Bob Crane's legacy remains a blend of achievement and unanswered questions. While the mystery surrounding his passing continues to draw attention, it is equally important to remember the joy he brought to audiences during his career. His work in television and radio left a lasting impression, showcasing his ability to entertain and connect with people from all walks of life. Over time, many have come to view his story not just as a tragedy, but as a reflection of the complexities that often accompany fame. By looking beyond the headlines, we can appreciate the full scope of his life, the laughter, the talent, and the moments that made him a beloved figure. In doing so, his story becomes not just one of loss, but also one of lasting impact.